Is it working now?
Is it working now?
Okay, cool.
Is it working now? Okay, cool. Is it working?
Oh god, it's gonna repeat itself. Okay. So, I know this is not Uncharted 2. I wanted to test without actually starting up Uncharted 2. So I started up Destiny to test. I'm actually going to be playing, well, Uncharted 2. I don't remember where it is. God damn it. Why isn't this alphabetically sorted? Who thought sort by recent was a good idea? Actually, I think this is sorted by... I don't even know how this is sorted. Anyways. Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know me, hi. I'm Doc. And I'm gonna play Uncharted 2 for stream. Now, some of you may know me. For those of you who know me, one of the things you probably know about me is that I am not a big fan of Uncharted 2, but I don't really want to be known as not a fan of Uncharted 2 because I think it's weird to be known as being not a fan of something, if that makes sense. Let me put it this way. Back in the day, I started playing video games because I saw some friends playing them at their house and I thought it was really cool. I had educational games. One of my favorite memories, maybe not favorite memories, but one of my memories, really strong one, is my best friend at the time. His name was Callum. He was from New Zealand. My best friend Callum brought over a copy of Combat Flight Simulator. And my parents wouldn't let me have Combat Flight Simulator because it had, shooting in it. So Callum bringing it over was like this really big deal to me because I loved World War II airplanes, and so, airplane shooting was awesome, right? So I was really excited to play, and we started talking about it, and I said something about game, and I remember my dad shouting from the other room, "It's not a game, son, it's a simulator." Because my parents didn't like games. I think, the word comes with connotations, right? It's entertainment, it's silly, it's goofy, it's weird, whatever. But the point, the key point, the important point, is that I'm trying to think how to put this. The key takeaway from that is I didn't have a lot of games to play growing up. It wasn't until I started getting maximum PC demo discs that I really started playing games. So starting in about 2003 through 2005, I played all the demos that Maximum PC had whenever I was able to buy copies of the magazine. So Ghostmaster, Far Cry, Call of Duty, things like that. And so a lot of what I learned to value about games is very different than the way other people did. Like my first multiplayer shooter was Chaser. It was the demo for a game called Chaser, and we set up a LAN, me and my younger brothers, and we would run around shooting each other. I was very good at it. They were not. Although I used the arrow keys at the time, I eventually learned to do WASD, and I'm glad I did. But I grew up with a different value system than most people. I loved simulators. I loved games that were incredibly replayable. So like I'm the kind of person who's a sucker for especially a lot of PC games. Age of Empires, flight simulators, immersive sims, Fallout games, stuff like that. Games that have a lot of, like, hey, you're in a world and you can do things that's really interesting. But I always wanted consoles. And so in 2010, I actually managed to get my first console, an Xbox 360. I made the choice because I'd really loved Max Payne, and Alan Wake was coming out as an exclusive for the 360. Plus, I had played some Halo at friends' houses. I really liked Halo. I had a copy of the Halo Combat Evolved demo disc, or actually the Halo full game, Halo Combat Evolved. I got it with a sound card I bought once. My parents threw it all out, but I went through the trash and got the Halo disc out of it. I couldn't get the other ones for some reason. Came with like 5 games, like Tomb Raider, Jedi Knight. Anyways, so I had Halo. I played Halo. I loved Halo. So I was like, Halo, Unreal Tournament. I played that demo a ton, and Alan Wake or Max Payne. Those games had all been really important to me. So when I found out there was a console that had games from the people who made Halo, Max Payne, and Unreal Tournament, I was like, oh man, I really need this. So I got it. And that was my kind of first foray into console gaming, aside from occasionally going to friends' houses. So there I was, really having a blast with these games. And then my friends were like, oh man, Uncharted 2 was amazing. Everybody, like, it was 2010, like, a lot of people were still talking about Uncharted 2, which came out that previous fall. And it sounded amazing. Like, it sounded like exactly my kind of thing. An adventure story, a shooter, really cool looking environments. Like, man, everything about it was so hype. Well, I ended up getting a PlayStation 3 in 2012. I was able to save up. I was pretty jobless and moneyless from 2010 to 2012. But in 2012, I had finally got a job, and I saved up enough money, and I bought myself a big, fat 60 gig PS3. And I got it used from GameStop. It was really exciting. And one of the first games I bought was Uncharted 2. And I played it, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the story. I didn't like the lack of guns. You gotta remember, I mean, I was literally playing, Halo and Gears of War at the time. Like, I was spoiled for really interesting combat variety. And Uncharted 2 came along, and it felt really boilerplate to me. Like, I was sitting there going, oh, the reason that the bad guy's in this scene is he's going to shoot the cameraman. And I knew he was going to shoot the cameraman because the cameraman was, there were one too many characters in the scene. Like, allied characters. There had only been a certain number of allied characters throughout Uncharted 2. I think you only have 2 allied characters at most, and the cameraman would bring that up to 3. I could have these numbers wrong. We're going to find out when I play this, but, like, I knew he was going to kill the character. I knew they were going to do it to be like, ha ha ha, see how evil the bad guy is? And it felt really boring and predictable to me. And then the end happened, and I just really didn't like it. I didn't like how the game would constantly take away camera control, all this other stuff. And so I ended up not liking the game. And so over the years, whenever people are like, oh, the game is so amazing, you have to admit that it's a great game, I always felt like, stop trying to make me admit this, because I disagree with you. It wasn't like I'm out here doing a crusade to hate on Uncharted 2. I had a very different background. I had I developed a very specific value system, and Uncharted 2, I felt, really failed to live up to what a good game is. So I never really liked it. And, then Uncharted 3 came out, and I thought, well, maybe they got better, maybe this will be a better game. And I played Uncharted 3, and I got, a couple hours in, and then I got really bored. A few years later, a bunch of people were like, oh, The Last of Us is amazing. I got it for like $10, $5. And I was like, nope, not really a big fan. And it's weird because Naughty Dog is out there making the genre of games I want, but they're not making they're not making the games in ways I enjoy playing. So, after a while it became kind of a running joke. It was funny to be like, oh, I don't like Uncharted. That was humorous to me to continue doing it, so I kept doing it. But, I've always wanted to try to come back and reevaluate the game now that I've played literally thousands of more games. So, I don't know. I want to see. We're going to find out. Is Uncharted 2 actually a good game? I'm going to play on normal. I always tend to play every game for a first time on normal. Sure. And people are like, oh, well, if you don't appreciate the experience if you don't play on cross-string or whatever. But I mean, I know people who are like, oh, you can't appreciate Halo if you don't play Halo on, Legendary. But I don't like Halo on Legendary because for me, the fun of Halo is moving around. And in Legendary, you have to take cover. And so sure, like, it's hard, and you can feel like, yeah, I accomplished something because I got through it, and that's great. But the fun of the game for me is the motion. I mean, like, hey, we boot this up. This is a remastered version on the PlayStation 4. It's not the original PlayStation 2 version. I don't know if they made any changes to the game other than aiming, because I remember there being a huge controversy about Uncharted 2's aiming being really bad on launch. Like, it was also true of Uncharted 1, but Uncharted 2 also, like, a lot of people were like, oh, the aiming is really bad, and they had to patch the aiming to make it not garbage. People tend to forget that. But I was thinking, this is an amazing intro. Really nice cold open that gets you familiar right away. And like, one thing games really suck at is motivation. Like Red Dead Redemption, right? It's this game that comes out and it's like, hey, here's your rap. Here's this guy, and he's been taken away from his family. And his family, you know, he wants to get back to them. But I've never met his family, so I don't know if I should care because I don't have any emotional connection to them, right? It's just an idea I've heard. But, you know, you play a game like, oh god. Okay, trust me, I do not remember how to play this, so like, this kills its own pacing right here because there's no clear route, which is great, but that's like a whole... Alright, I think I can climb up the back there. It might have been nice if they let you just climb around either way to speed up the pacing there. I love how they force you to decide in order so they can do that. But you know, here we have this moment that's like Nate Drake is in trouble right away, and so immediately we have questions, right? We're like, what's happening? Why is this happening? But we're also in jeopardy, so like our immediate thing is we have to get out of here. And of course, this looks great. 2009, this was one of the best looking games out there. I don't remember if it was like technically one of the best looking games, like in terms of like actual technology, because I mean, you know, the PS3 was not as powerful as the 360, regardless of the hilarious fan arguments on Wikipedia and stuff. It had a graphics card, I think, that was about half as powerful or as the 360 ended up being, and of course the RAM situation was pretty bad. But it was still a very good looking game because the art direction was just superb. I mean, a lot of games were doing the Vaseline look, the brown and gray, and here's Uncharted 2 being like, there's snow, there's this gorgeous red train car. You know, I mean, this game was like very clear about its art direction in a way that I really appreciate. I think the transitions don't really feel super great, but we're still ending up with this thing that feels really cool. Yeah, not a lot to say about it. It's just, it puts you in immediate danger, so you have an immediate want. One of the big problems that games have is that they're not very good at making you want things. They're like, oh, well, you know, if we say the galaxy is in danger, you'll want that. But like, it feels so much more interesting to have a very clear, immediate goal, right? And it's a very, there we go. Needs better lerping. It's a very clear, immediate goal that you are in danger and you need to escape. And it's an understandable goal too, right? Like, I played Anthem the other day, and Anthem's like, it's got all these big monsters, it's got all this stuff, people are talking about all sorts of stuff on the radio that I have no idea what any of that is. So it's trying to dump a lot of information on you right away. And this game, it's like, here's Nathan. And Nathan is in a train car for some reason, and he's in danger. Get him out of danger before he dies. And I think that's a really strong introduction. And then here we get to like one of the worst directed cutscenes of all time. There's this great article, which is called Don't Call Uncharted to a Film, I believe. And it's...
Buy me a drink, sailor?
Harry Flynn? Hey! What the hell are you doing here?
I'm looking for you, mate.
I don't really want to interrupt the
Should I
talking.
be flattered or worried?
Maybe a bit of both. Come here.
You like cliche
I've
dialogue,
got
right?
a job for us.
I love it.
Really?
The client is willing to part with a huge sum of cash if we acquire
Voice
a
acting is
certain
great, though.
object for him.
All right, I'm listening.
Now, you're not gonna like this.
Oh, no. No, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, you just hear me out for
No,
a second.
Flynn, we both know two people who were killed trying to lift something out of this
And
place.
one who made it out.
Yeah, barely.
I can't do this without you, Drake.
Harry
The only
Flynn was
one who's
voiced by a guy
cracked it,
named
and you know better
Steve
than anyone. It's a
Valentine.
two-person job.
No.
I've never heard
Three,
of him.
actually.
Right.
He was in
Revelation
Spider-Man
comes
3
now.
as photographer.
What?
Chloe Fraser.
He was also in Pup Star, Better
Drake, Nathan.
Together,
Drake.
and in Supergirl as
Hello,
Mad
Harry.
Scientist.
Chloe is one of the best drivers in the business.
Never heard of
She'll
him.
take good care of us.
I bet.
Apparently he was Alistair in Dragon Age.
I've got it all figured out. We go in through the sewer.
Loving it so far.
That puts us in the courtyard. From there, we scale up the wall, run across the rooftops, and just drop down into the exhibit hall. Bob's your uncle. And what?
Bob's
is
your
worth all
uncle.
this
What
trouble,
is-
I hear you ask.
This
I
awful
didn't, but
script.
go ahead. But that's it. An oil lamp.
Yeah.
It's worthless.
Is the audio
Get it.
really choppy?
Neither do we. That's why we tracked you down.